So this section is a nice one. It just pulls everything together, right? All our different conic sections. And all we're going to do is look at an equation and say, which shape is it, right? And I threw in some oldies but goodies. A line. Remember when life was easy? Y equals mx plus b. We didn't know how good we had it, right? Line was the biggest thing we had to worry about. Then we moved up and we did parabola, right? Y equals and x equals. And by the way, what do you notice about the line and the exponents? Just think about that for a second versus the parabola and the exponents. Then we had circle, but we had done that last year in geometry, so that wasn't terrible. And then we really kicked it into high gear, right, with the ellipse, and then finally with the hyperbola. So it's just a which one is it? You don't have to show any work on these questions whatsoever, and most people get these 100% right. So there's a little method, but I'm going to circle back to that. I'm going to look at these 6 equations and say, can you tell me which one's the line? Which one of those 6 equations is a line? Right, number 3 is a line. How did you know? Well, it had a plane x and a plane y, right? It's in standard form there. No squareds, it's a line. Any parabolas you notice? Any parabolas? Why, yes, number 2 is a parabola. Well, how did you know? Well, it only had an x squared. It didn't have a y squared. So that's a parabola. Then it gets a little bit dicier, right? So everything else has squareds. I don't know, one that kind of stands out to me is number 4, because I just can see, well, I can divide everything by 36. And when I do that, this is going to be over 4 and over 9. It's a plus in the middle, which is equal to 1. Which one has the plus? Right, the ellipse. I look at number 1 and think I could probably change that form pretty quickly. X squared minus 2x, leave the blank. Y squared plus 8y, leave the blank, equals 8. 2 blanks here, plus 1. Plus what, 16? Yeah, plus 16. And by now you're I can see it. It's becoming clear. This is a circle, right? Now, one thing about the circle versus the ellipse. If I were to divide everything by 25, you might be isn't that an ellipse? No, because what would happen here is the a squared and the b squared are what? Same number. So if the major and the minor axis are the same, what shape is it? La la la, circle. A circle is really a special ellipse. So that leaves us now with, hyperbola is the only one I haven't seen yet. Which one between 5 and 6 is clearly a hyperbola? Right, number 6. How did you know? Right, because it has that subtraction sign in the middle. So you can kind of pen-peck your way around. And then number 5 is going to be a hyperbola as well. And I'm going to tell you how I know by going back to this little cheat sheet here. It said you can also set the entire equation equal to 0. Look at what they call a, the coefficient of x squared, and c, the coefficient of y squared. If a equals c, it's a circle. Well, look back at number 1. You had 1 x squared and 1 y squared. Circle. If a and c are not equal to each other, but they have the same sign. So that one, actually, you'd have to do all that foiling. It would be 9x squared and 4y squared. That would follow for an ellipse. Parabola, a or c equals 0, but not both. So that means either no x squared or no y squared, which is what happens in number 2. And then you have the hyperbola is they're not equal, but they have opposite signs. And as long as everything is on the same side of the equal sign, when we kick that over, it's going to be negative. So it's a hyperbola. How these are on the test is they are matching, do not have to show any work, and I'm fair to all the shapes and always have one of each shape. So this is really a nice section. On the homework tonight, you'll see on the back is all review of all the shapes. So we're really starting to pull everything together.